here to show you how to integrate OAuth API of UPS for your FileMaker file. Now, with the OAuth, it requires you to create an account for UPS, a developer account, to be more specific. There'll be a link down below, show you how to get to it. But essentially, what you'll have to do is create one account and then create a billing account in which it will require a bunch of information from you to make sure you are who you are. Now, when you get there and add the application, you will have to create one. Here's an example of one. And what you will need from this application you create on the UPS API side is the client ID right here and the client secret. You will also need the callback URL, which is any kind of URL you want it to go back to login. Essentially, it'll go to this website and then it'll go to the login. And then afterwards, it'll go to this site as well, giving you the authorization token. Essentially, how OAuth works is that it has a access key, just like previous. However, it has a expiration date, essentially having only a certain amount of time in which you can use it. Now, let me show you how to set that up. Now, before you even start doing this, you will need to add products to your UPS application. Now, right here, I have address validation and tracking. However, you can also do Alert API, you could do a locator to see where a package is. There is a bunch of things you can add to it. Shipping, rating, times in transit, so on and so forth. Now, getting on to the actual application itself. Now, here, all you have to do is go to this setup button, and you will see that you put in your client ID here, your secret here, and then your callback URL here. Now, before you even get started, you need that authorization key itself. So, if you select the Open Auth window, it'll go into a login screen. Put in your username and password here. I'm already signed in with this. But essentially what happens when you log in here is that it'll send you back to the callback URL with the actual auth code attached to it. And what happens is whenever you log in, it'll close this window and grab that authorization token and save it onto the file itself. Now, here are some examples of what you can do with the UPS API. Essentially, we have address validation and tracking. Address validation using that new auth token will allow you to get the exact address. So allow me to show you. Let's use an example right here. Let's create a record. Let's just choose this apartment, and for address validation, all that it really requires is either a road, a zip code, a city, state, and zip. Essentially, there are several combinations you can have here in order for it to actually authenticate or verify that this is an actual location. And there's the city, the state, and then the actual zip code. And then clicking this button, go through and actually grab it. So it'll have it in this response, essentially grabbing that the code is a 1 and a success, and giving you more information about the general region, the address line, and everything, making sure that everything there is an actual address. Now, with this, and with the auth in the background, what happens, and I could show you here, real quick. One moment. So in the background with the address validation, essentially it has a base URL that it is using, and then using that auth token and the timestamp in which it expires, it checks if it's already expired and it'll automatically refresh that token, essentially causing it so that you don't have to worry about anything on the back end, and the token refreshes itself for more safety rather than having one auth code where you can worry about where it's secure and whether someone else is using it. It'll have an expiration date and automatically refresh when you need it to. This helps a lot with security. Now, you also have tracking. Here's a bunch of selections of tracking numbers that are for testing on the UPS side. So let's go with 1Z package, and then it'll show the actual activity of that package. So first one is like clearing agency, final release, where it is, what country, then each location it stops by, and then telling you it's departing from the facility here, Lumen, and so on and so forth, and it allows you to track and figure out where packages are at any state or moment, or where it has been. This allows you to integrate with your own system in a very smooth and clean way. Now, if you need any help with setting up anything like this with the new API, let us DB Services know, and we'd be willing to help you, no problem.